I'm Kelly McDonald, and we are all on so many Zoom calls these days, and it looks like it's going to be like this for a while. So I wanted to give a few more tips on how to look like a rock star or a boss on your next virtual call. I want to tackle two things: background noise and eating and drinking. So let's start with background noise. Obviously, there's a lot of things that maybe you can't control. You can't control if a siren, if an ambulance is going by and there's a siren going off. You can't control if your neighbor decides to start mowing their lawn, etc. But you can control the sounds that you know of in your own home. So for example, I was on a call the other day with a woman, and there was this huge, loud, ear-piercing buzzer that went off in the middle of her call. And I said, "What was that?" And she said, "Oh, that's my dryer." And I get the fact that, we have buzzers on our dryers and stuff, but if you're throwing in a load of laundry and you know you're going to get on a call with your boss, this is not the time to have the buzzer on. Just think ahead to the ambient sounds that you're surrounded with and think about the ones that you can control. Turn off the buzzer, etc. Also, minimizing distractions from the people in your household that you can control. Now, you may not be able to control the dog or the kids, and that's actually pretty charming, right? When we've seen that kind of thing on videos of the baby walking in the room or the dog jumping into its owner's lap. And, I get the fact that if you've got kids and they decide to start, throwing a Frisbee behind your head, that's something that can also be sort of cute and you really can't control it. But you can definitely control your spouse or your partner. I had a client that was telling me the other day that they were on the phone with a speaker and they were having an actual meeting, and the speaker's spouse decided to walk into the room and came up and kissed that person on the head. And it was wildly inappropriate. And, it would just be so easy to say to your spouse or partner, "I have a business call. Please don't disturb me for the next 30 minutes. So try to control the things that you actually can control. And think about those sounds that you can control. For example, I know that my yard service people come on Monday mornings between 10 and 11. They come by 10 and they are gone in 30 minutes. So I try not to have conference calls on Monday mornings at 10 because there's going to be a lawnmower right outside my office. So I try to control that. Okay, moving on to eating and drinking. This is something very important because, see, there goes my cat. Eating and drinking, when people have been on calls all day, all day, like 8-9 hours of calls, I understand the fact that, they have to eat. And they'll say, "How do I eat on a Zoom call?" The answer is you don't. We don't need to see you eating, and we sure as heck don't need to see you chomping or hear you chomping. So if it's the only chance you can have to eat, then at least turn your video off and mute yourself. It's just a courtesy to the person that you're Zooming with. What about drinking though? Here's something that most people don't think about. They think, "Oh, I have this bottle of water. I'm going to drink out of the bottle of water." Well, let me show you what it looks like. You probably have never even thought about this, but here's what it looks like. It looks a little awkward. In order to drink out of a bottle of water, we have to throw our head back and lean back. If you've got a water bottle or something like this, that's the position. You have to lean back and throw your head back in order to sip. It just doesn't look very polished and very professional. What's a better way? The coffee mug. You pour your water into a coffee mug and you just sip from here. The reason that this works is because you don't have to throw your head back in order to take a sip. There's a reason why coffee mugs are on the desks and tables of every talk show host that you're ever going to see, that they don't have water bottles. They have coffee mugs, even if it's a nighttime show. So there you have it. Please control the background noise if you can, and how to eat and drink on a Zoom call. Don't eat. Put your liquids in a coffee mug. I'm Kelly McDonald. I hope that helps. We're in this for the long haul. Thanks for watching.